All right, let's say you've got an image, you want your level to have lots of space, your character can move around, and there's lots more things to do than a tiny little image. But then you get these annoying scroll bars, and you don't want to have to scroll while you're playing your game, because then that's pretty annoying. But they're actually something we're going to work with at the beginning here, and then I'll show you how to take them off. So the first thing that I do is I'm going to just take my image as it is, and this one happens to be 1920 by 1080. So I'm going to go in there and just actually make it the full-size image. Now the reason for that is I want to initialize it, so I want to be able to see all of it when I do that. For example, when I'm doing this, I'm going to add some ground. So like this, I can put the ground on, just keep tiling that ground along there, and then initialize it here, build a level that I'm going to be able to use with my character. So I got a few pieces. I realize that it's very low budget since it doesn't match any of the game there. But anyways, feel free to make your own improvements. And maybe I'll put like a floating ground or something like we're in Avatar. Well, I guess Mario already had that. So anyway, got some question marks I'll put up there. Just a few things that I already kind of had as assets from Mario, and you obviously could do a better job if you were motivated to do so and create your own level. Just want to show you how this works in Greenfoot, because once we make it scroll, we're going to actually lose the picture of all this stuff, right? It's going to only show us a very small window of that image, and right now I can see it all. Okay, so what I have now, say I was happy with this and like, yeah, that's my level. I'm going to right click and I'm going to say save the world. Greenfoot goes and adds all that code for you. So notice all that stuff it's put in there for me. It basically just took every piece that I added and it went and created one and added its location. It just wrote the Java code. So now, next time I was to like recompile or hit reset, it all comes back to me, and I don't have to worry about losing all those pieces that I initialized with. So now that we've got that there, again, we want to get rid of the scroll bars. Now that we've, we did our initializing, move stuff around, we don't need them anymore. So let's get rid of them. This is where we're going to go to your world, and you're going to choose the screen-friendly size. So I think 800 by 600 was a good choice on this monitor. Let me just take a quick look. And there it is. Okay, so yeah, no scroll bars, looks good. But I only see that top corner portion of the image, which is fine, I guess. But I'm going to add a character. I'm going to make the character move us around. So just to help you get a sense of how it works, I'm just going to give you a quick little sketch. So let's say that this is the screen. Okay, so I'll do screen in blue, like this. And we'll just make a note here so we remember. Okay, and then we have this little buffer zone. This is the zone that tells us that it's time to move. We might be at the edge already, and there is no more room to scroll. That's fine. But this is the buffer space. So I'll have to use an arrow. That's buffer. So what you can imagine is, right now, what you're seeing is there's an image that's much bigger than the screen. So this is the image in black. And if my character is inside the buffer, it just shows that portion of the image that's already on the screen. But if my character is to bump that buffer, then that's going to tell the screen that it needs to scroll that way. Similarly, if my character was here and it hit the bottom, then that's going to make the screen scroll down this way. Okay, so if we don't have a main character, we won't be able to do any scrolling, which is why I'm going to go here and put that main character in. So I have a Mario main, and I'll add Mario to the middle of the screen. And it'd still be frozen right now unless I made this important call here. So if I say set main character, now this is taking from the ScrollingWorld class right here. It's using that code and saying that's the one you're going to follow around. So you need to have that piece of code there. It has to extend the scrolling world so it knows how to act the way a scrolling world does. And that's the job of a scrolling world, is that's its act method, is it follows the main character, and anytime the main character hits the buffer, it does that scroll. So I'll show you here. I should be able to recompile and then show you how Mario starts life in the middle. Inside the buffer space. Okay. And I've just got a simple keyboard here that moves left, right, up, down. So, there he is scrolling. He's sort of flying, moves down. There's all those pieces I saved. Move where you like. But again, I can back up, and when there's no more place to back up, then he just hits the side of the screen. So it does all that management for you, which is one thing I wanted to, so you wouldn't have to worry about the complexities of it. You can just use my code. But there you go. That's how you can use a scrolling world. One other thing I will just quickly mention about it is if you need to do your own act method, it's not going to work if I do this. Oop. So you put your own code. Maybe you're spawning enemies or power-ups or something like that. If you do that, because you've now overwritten the scrolling world's act method, you're going to find that Mario just bumps into the walls, or whoever your character is. Right now, and he goes, uh-oh. He's actually off the screen. I can bring him back. Oh, there he is. The problem is, whatever you're doing, you don't want to override the scrolling behavior. So you need to have this in your act method, super.act. Super is the way that Java knows that you're actually talking about the parent class, the scrolling world. You're saying, hey Java, go and act like the scrolling world does, and then do my code. So make sure that if you do add your own custom act stuff inside your world, that you still include this line of code so that it continues to act like a scrolling world. Alright, so you should be ready to go in terms of scrolling now. And if you want to do like an air kind of game or a top-down view or something that doesn't use gravity, but that's the basics of scrolling.